there's just something not connecting upstairs for some of these people. Like, dude.
안녕하세요 여러분, 이름은 AJ예요. My name is AJ and welcome back to Shadow Spinner Reacts, where we are continuing with more of Marry My Husband, episode 6. 내 남편과 결혼했죠?
I didn't actually see the Hangul. Where's the Hangul?
내 남편과 결혼했죠.
I said it correctly the first time.
Badly pronounced and stuttering, but I said it correctly. I'm still working on it, okay? I don't have anybody to practice with. I have to practice. 그냥 혼자 공부를 해요. 그리고 드라마 같이 공부를 해요. 하지만 너무 힘들어요. But anyway, so we're continuing with more of this. If you haven't watched it yet, please go watch the original series first. It is currently, at the time of recording, on Amazon Prime Video. And also we have it up on Patreon for full uncut reactions, or if you just would like to get them a couple weeks early. Sorry, my brain is like all over the place because I haven't quite woken up yet because I'm not a morning person, but dramas are the best way to start the day. It's the weekend. Let's go. All right, we left off with a super awkward accidentally accusing him of dating his sister, and then him passing out on her shoulder, which I wasn't sure if that's like he's sick, because she didn't seem to remember him getting sick at all. And or if it's just like there's something about the rules of this time travel where he's not allowed to tell her anything, and the mystic forces that be caught on to the fact that he was about to reveal something and they prevented him by knocking him out. I don't know. I was about to say I watch too many dramas, but like that's kind of the whole point, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so let's just go 3, 2, 1 and click. Oh, because he knows that how she dies. So he's like, your stomach's not okay? We need to go take you to the hospital right now. They need to check for even the tiniest cancerous cell. Your stomach's not okay? Pretty? And why does her making herself pretty involve moving a strand of hair around for a little bit? Really, lady? Hey! I feel like if we were watching a hospital drama, like we just divided this episode in half. That guy's going off to the hospital drama and they just accidentally caught him on camera. He's like, why would you have CT scans done? That's excessive. Minyoung? I love how the doctor's like, you don't get CT scans just because. I love how the doctor's like, whatever, just can we get the tests done, please? Now I have to just get the test done. Where did you even, like, find, like, you're like, excuse me. This random bus stop or light post isn't good enough. Follow me into an alley and then you can pretend to be shocked there. But you followed him into this alley, or you led him to the alley. How did we get from point A to point B? The actress is very pretty, but the character is very ugly. Have you guys noticed that how attractive a person looks is strongly dependent on what expression they're wearing on their face? She's always got that calculating expression on and that fake cry and that... And it's not a good look on anybody.
난 좋은 사람이야.
Okay, that was random and out of the blue. I'm a good person. Like,
하지만 누군가를 믿고 다시 시작하는 일이.
He's trying, but that's probably not. I appreciate his awkwardness because he is a good guy and he's very intelligent and he's good at his job and he cares about people, but he's got just the tiniest bit of social awkwardness. It seems like he doesn't really necessarily know interpersonal stuff. Like even with things like the taking care of your appearance, which I'm kind of on his side for. As I mentioned this in a previous video, my idea of putting on makeup is grabbing lipstick and going right before I press play on the camera. and brushing my hair. That's it. I'm like, brush, lipstick, we good to go. Okay. But does it impact how people treat me? I mean, not the people I care about, but in general, yeah, I did because I went to an acting school. And that was in New York City. And yes, on the days that I fully dressed up and fully did my hair, like, carefully, yes, the way that people in general treated me, it changed. It shouldn't change, but it did change. Okay? He's more of like the people shouldn't do that, so why would I do that? But not recognizing the reality, or like not absorbing the reality, like, of just because a thing should be that way doesn't mean that that's how people actually behave. That's where I'm noticing, like, his character is very much a not always knowing how to deal with other people, which I kind of like, because I'm kind of over the stereotypical, like, perfect male lead who's always making the female lead honestly look incompetent by comparison, just because he's so perfect and makes no mistakes, and yeah, it's tiring. He feels like a human being, like an actual complete human being. He's got things that he's really great at, and he's got his flaws, and he's got this situation he's been dropped into, and he has no idea how to deal with it.
난 좋아요. 하지만 지원 씨가 싫다고 하는 건 아무것도 안 할 거고 곤란하게도 안 할 겁니다. 해야 하는 말은 단 하나뿐이에요. 싫다고.
I like him.
전
I like him. He is in the cab right behind her, isn't he? Because they're both leaving the same place and going in the same direction, so of course. No, that's the cat. Okay, I'm like, is my baby crying? No, that's the cat. I was like, my Ian is supposed to be taking care of the baby. I'm sorry. I'm just so used to them doing, like, the showing off the body of the male lead thing, that transition was just, that was perfect, but also so many subverted expectations right there. Like, I was about to be like, oh, great, I'm gonna have to block this off for YouTube, and it's just like, nope, we're not showing anything, we just got this really awesome transition. I've noticed this a lot in recent K-dramas, fashion-wise, where it's like, they take two outfits and, like, half of one outfit and half of another outfit and cut them together, and I guess, like, that's the intentional look, but I'm not a fan. Pick one of the other. It would look great with either of the necklines, but it looks weird with, like, it literally looks like you took two outfits, cut them in half, and sewed them together. Haeun's picking up on things that other people won't pick up on. They really don't. They're the polar opposites of each other. He is very, like, reserved, and she is, like, bubbly beyond belief. Yes? Oh, you're not even gonna finish saying good morning? No, you're just gonna sulk and throw your briefcase on a table and... What do you mean, what? You look like you're throwing a mini temper tantrum. I actually have stopped watching Partners for Justice now. I had to stop because I really like his character there, and so I need to finish this series and wrap up his character arc in this series, because I couldn't handle going back and forth between loving and hating his character. Oh, push him off.
그 이유는 사내 연애가 업무에 영향을 미치기 때문입니다.
That's about what I was gonna say.
박민환 대리 행동처럼.
But I love how he's conveniently saying about how you acted today when you threw your briefcase on the table. We're not going to mention, like, way back when she grabbed his hair and, like, dragged him across the office and was throwing office supplies at him.
잠시만.
Did he ask you the time just so that he had like oh, I'm just gonna bend your arm backwards. We're having this conversation on the roof where there's no cameras. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I hate her character, but I love that she's toying with him because he deserves every bit of discomfort he gets. Marriage material. That's what it is. He's like, it's hard to find somebody who is hardworking, makes a decent paycheck, and who will clean up after my mess and take care of me. Which, by the way, is not marriage material. It's maid material. And if you want a maid that does all of those things for you, I actually looked this up because I am like losing my mind trying to have a full-time job and being a new mother and trying to keep my house from falling into a completely like irrecoverable mess. They get paid a lot. They get paid a lot. So if you want those services, if you want somebody cleaning up after you, if you want somebody cooking your meals for you, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you better pay for it. That is an expensive thing. It's one thing if you have like some division of labor going on where it's like, so you've agreed to do this thing and they've agreed to do that thing and you both do your jobs, but that's not what he wants. He wants to do nothing and have her do everything and take care of him. No, that was a mistake. Don't ever give him a card. Give him cash. Give him cash so that there's a limit. Food. Everybody eats sushi with chopsticks. What's wrong with you? At a restaurant this nice, you're eating it with your hands? And it's not even like it's just your own dish. This is shared sushi where everybody's reaching off and grabbing it. You're grabbing it with your hands? Wow. Wow. What's bound to happen will happen. What's bound to happen will happen. Her proposal got stolen. It's just getting stolen by him instead of Sumin. So she can't prevent it from being stolen. That's going to happen. It's going to get stolen. So all she can control is how it gets stolen and what the fallout from it is. So if what's bound to happen happens, but we haven't established the flip side of that, which is, can you create new major events? What's on his wall? Oh, okay, that's just the camera flare lighting. Like, for a second I thought, no, there are dots on his wall. I'm not, there's dots on his wall. Why would anybody do that? It didn't even look like intentional paint. I mean, clearly the second time around it was like, okay, there's clearly a polka dot pattern, but honestly I saw it and I was just like, did he have to like patch his wall and not paint over it again yet? He spent $340 on flipping lunch. Do you know how hard it is to spend $340 on lunch? Do you know how hard it is to spend $340 on lunch? That's it. I'm gonna find this. I'm gonna show it to the camera right now. How well you can see that. Do you see that whole plate of meat? How much meat there is there? It's like an entire giant tray. Okay, at that restaurant, that was $34.72. All of that tray that was like that big and had very, very nice cuts of meat that we then got to cut up and grill in front of us, and then you put it on the lettuce, and you put the lettuce on it. You have the lettuce, you put the meat on it, you put some bean sprouts on it, you put a little bit of kimchi on it, you put some grilled garlic on it, because you gotta grill the garlic on there too. You put a little bit of sauce on it, you roll it up and just stuff it in your mouth. Yeah, all of that meat, $34. $34. Do you know how hard it is to spend $320 flipping on one meal? What the heck restaurant did you go to? Did you have wine? You have to come back. It's lunch. They have to come back to work. Like, what did they buy? Sorry, I just wanted to put it in perspective. Like, you can get that much for $34. One more thing. That was $34 in August of 2023. This series takes place 10 years earlier. So there's 10 years of inflation, although I don't actually I haven't been paying attention to the Korean economy, to be fair, but generally across the entire world, typically there's inflation. Prices tend to rise over time. So 10 years ago, they spent $320 on lunch. When I can get that for $34 now. And that $34 was for the whole lunch. That was like our final bill. Like, so that included whatever, I don't even remember what we got to drink or what sides we ordered, but that was the whole thing. How? And how would they think that, like, she wouldn't notice that $320 were spent on her card? Like, they thought she'd be okay with that? These people that are supposed to be her boyfriend and her best friend are supposed to be okay with spending $320 is egregious. We also got, like, we made convenience store meals. I don't know if you've ever seen those or made those before. I used to make them when I was living there. Where you take you'll take like a ramen base or something like that, and then you'll get like the tsamsi kimbap, or it's actually better if you use like the triangle kimbap. And then you cook it, and then you chop up the triangle kimbap and like mix it in, and then you buy some cheese sticks and you like shred the cheese sticks across the top, and you might get one of the boiled eggs that they have and put that in as well. And you basically make a meal using only things that you buy from the convenience store, but you make it so much better than any of the individual items. That's a completely different topic. I could talk about food forever. I'm sorry. I love food. But yeah. So they're gonna get this person involved. No, he sucks at that position and you want him to have a higher one? And by the way, why don't you give that speech to your distant cousin and be like, yeah, you're supposed to nurture your subordinates. He actually wouldn't know how to do that because he also hits his subordinates with papers. He only wants you to nurture your subordinates if your subordinates are related to him. Yeah, he recognized that something's up. Like, he's more human than he looks, but you have to do it on your own. Because, well, you don't actually, but she doesn't know that he traveled back. She should know that he traveled back. I don't think you'll ask for help. In other words, I know something's wrong. Just say, I don't like there being corruption in my office. Just say it like that. There's unethical stuff happening in my office and I'm not okay with it. No. What's going on here? You got her name on it? I wonder where my Kendo uniform went to. Okay, so the important thing here is because he's bigger than you, you're not going to beat him on strength. So when you're trying to flip him, it is, as he said, it's about leverage and it's about speed. You cannot flip him slowly because the entire thing is you're going to pop your hip out, you're going to set the hips together, pop your hip out so that it gets him off the ground, and then you do the speed flip, and it's actually using his own strength against him so that he'll go over. But if you do it slow, if you hesitate and do it slow, he won't flip because it's not about strength. And the slower you do it, the more it's relying on your muscles, and your muscles can't handle the weight of somebody that's twice as big as you. You have to go fast. Fast is better. Speed beats strength any day of the week. No, not with your strength, with your speed. This is one flaw, not with your strength, with your speed. This is this drama's equivalent of Go. You're spinning him around. It needs to be over because you have to have body contact to do it because you have to pop him up. You know what? It's her first day. It actually takes quite a bit to learn. Because you've got to actually learn how to align the body. And you've got to learn how your body moves and how his body moves. I love how she's like, I can't win, so I'm just gonna shove you. And trip you. They got some air on that for no reason. There was no reason for them to have any air whatsoever on that. You didn't flip him. You just pushed him over and landed on top of him. But you know what? We'll take what wins we can get. That's not actually, in my opinion, the best way to go about it. The best way to go about it is to figure out, okay, this is her height, this is her build. Because there are certain there's differences among the different styles of martial arts that lend themselves better to certain strengths or certain weaknesses that compensate for some weaknesses and bolster some strengths. So I would go based on height and body type when I am selecting what martial arts I was going to train. She is not, well, it's hard to tell because if you look at him compared to even the other guys, he's fairly tall for a guy. So it's hard to tell, but to tell how tall she is, he's a fair bit taller than her, it looks like. But you need to compare her to how tall she is compared to other people, because there's different moves that you need if almost all of your opponents are going to be taller than you. There's different moves that you need to do than if all of your opponents are going to be shorter than you. You need to give them, it's called, I literally just refer to them as the short people moves. And a lot of that's going to be, flipping is very good because it's easier to duck down and roll somebody over you than it is to get like above them. You're never going to aim for the face. You're always going to want to be aiming for the torso targets or below it. I wouldn't aim below the belt unless, if I was genuinely afraid for my life, in which case all bets are off. Play him. Let him steal it. Like, here's the thing. I don't want you to sabotage it necessarily because, there's a lot of innocent people in this company who don't deserve to have their company tank.
이것이 뉴질랜드를 뛰놀던 사냥이 진짜 사랑하는 남편의 두 번째 아이를 출산하고 여유롭게 짠 저절로 만든 느낌이 나는 것 같은 바스크 치즈 케이크예요. 이거 어디서 사신 거예요?
Dude, she should be a professional wine tester. That's about as much sense as half of those explanations make. I feel like I just insulted an entire profession, but have you heard people, describe wine when they take a sip of it? Yeah, she just went full on in that realm. Ship. Wait, I have a ship. We have a chef. Who is kind. A little fragile, but kind. And hardworking and talented and makes amazing food. And we have a gorgeous, adorable, bubbly, kind, intelligent foodie. Oh my gosh, 너무 보소. 죄송합니다. She's adorable. I love her.
근데 뭐 어쩌겠어요? 그런 성격이라서 한국대 간 거지.
You keep on coming back. This is really weird. She's the type of person that would be like, she's always bragging that she got into Hankuk University. And literally she's the only one that's constantly mentioning it. Which means it's entirely her inferiority complex. Because I have not heard Jiwon say even once from her own mouth, oh yeah, I went to Hankuk University. I haven't heard Jiwon say that once. And she said that before. She said that to Mr. Kim. That, oh yeah, she probably looks down on you because she went to Hankuk University. But Jiwon has never even said those words that's where she went to with her own mouth. So she's not bragging about it. She's never even said it. Hey, there's work being done on his computer. Sorry, it's just sometimes when I see what's on the computer screens, nothing's moving, like the computers are stagnant, but he's actually maneuvering around a graphic, so he's actually doing work. I know it's your own desk, but still having your feet on the desk is so disrespectful. Oh, gosh, no, we need to get... speaking of taking out the trash, like, you guys gotta get out. So she just has to push him a little bit. That's what you just need to, I don't know how you would, like, accelerate that timeline. Unless she's planning on stepping in and being the victim.
내일이면
Maybe that's what she'll do. She'll confront him in public, and then he'll attack her while somebody else is recording.
너 요즘에 너무 열심히 일만 해. 우리 삼총사 언제 모였는지 기억 잘 안 나.
Oh, yeah, it has been a while since you've hung out because, she's been avoiding hanging out with you because your presence makes her want to vomit.
난 지금 내가 열심히 한 만큼 내가 좋았으면 해.
Yes, you should be rewarded for the work that you do now.
너 요즘 이런 말 할 때마다 귀신 들린 것 같아.
I love how Sumin expects to be rewarded immediately. Minwon expects to be rewarded immediately, but both of them think that she's out of line for expecting to be rewarded immediately.
간장치킨이네. 네가 좋아하는?
In other words, you even when you buy me food, you're buying me the food that you like, not the food that I like. Wow. Now, they have all of that sample food just stacked up there, and it's not like one thing of sample food. It's like a lot of sample food, and this is not a location that customers come by. So are employees just like allowed to partake of that for their lunch? Because that's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, thank you for the steamed rice. Where is, I need the microwavable rice bowl, and I need a thing of tuna, and I need some of the toasted seaweed. And you take the toasted seaweed and you put like a spoonful of the cooked rice on it, and then you scoop up a little bit of the tuna and then you roll it up and go. Because there's a seat beside you. If you don't want anybody sitting beside you don't want anybody sitting beside you on a plane. Actually, I don't know if airlines will just sell an extra seat to somebody who's not going to be there. But I would imagine that you would have to pay for that seat as well to guarantee that nobody's sitting in it. If you didn't pay for the seat, you can't stop somebody from sitting in the seat. What weird entitlement is this? Who cares who you are? Did you pay for the seat or did you not pay for the seat? You didn't pay for a seat. Because there is a seat next. Oh my gosh. Is he still recording? Please. Is he still recording? So he just admitted on a plane full of people that he stole it and that he's going to punish her for stealing it. He's got a lot of witnesses around. Disgusting. Disgusting. I love coworkers and managers like that are like, oh yeah, no, I'll take care of her, and it's really like a get out of here, you don't have to deal with this crazy. That's what that code is. You know, there's just something not connecting upstairs for some of these people. Like, dude. Yeah, there's really no justifying that. Just like, there's nothing a company could say to try to be like, oh, we're looking into it. Be like, no, he's gone. Yeah, we saw the clip. We don't accept it. He's gone. Done. Done. She's watching it with the same level of enjoyment with which I watch K-dramas. I don't know any of BTS's songs. I should because Ian bought me their album for Beat Saber, but I've been doing Linkin Park on Beat Saber instead. But they don't have my favorite bands, which are all of the bands from like 2009, 2010. Like, I want to listen to Big Bang and DBSK and 21 and Shinoshide and After School and Super Junior. Although if you want a really, really good song, go look up the Grasshopper song by Sunny Hill. Love it.
다이너마이트 최고죠. 제 취향은 봄날 쪽이지만.
저도 봄날 좋아하는데.
Oh, did they mess up? Did they mess up?
봄날이요?
다이너마이트라고요.
Because it was so casual and such a side note. They both named songs that haven't come out yet. Yeah, currently, I love how okay, thank you for the hand-holding. I actually was able to figure that out from context clues, but I appreciate, like, the this, and by the way, in case you, the viewer, forgot, it is still currently 2013. Although, sorry, what month did they say it was? July. So it's been roughly 3 months since she came back. I did go back and check the dates. So she died on the 12th and he died on the 13th, which is why, and I think I pointed this out before, when he grabbed the elevator, that was the second day for her, but it was the first day for him, which is why he was reacting that strongly. I don't think he actually remembers her flip out on April 12th. I don't think this him knows that, which is why he didn't pick up on it faster, because if he had remembered, oh, she had this flip out that definitely didn't happen before, where she was like throwing stuff at Minwon, I would immediately be like, yeah, she knows what he did to her, because that never happened and that was extreme. So everything he did for her on day 1 was the way the original him without any knowledge of the future would have behaved, which means even without knowing what happened to her, he still would have gone after her when she dropped her. He still would have protected her from Minwon. When you saw Minwon do that thing, he was gonna, like that. He still would have protected her from that. Still would have protected her from the falling coffee. Still would have, when she lost her shoes, gone after her with her shoe and then gone and gotten her other shoe for her. Still would have driven her home. Still would have bought her food and then left it at the door. And then still would have told her that she's a good worker and that she shouldn't quit her job. All of those things happened. All of those things that he did with no knowledge of the future. That was just how he would have behaved to begin with. Maybe that maybe other people won't find that important. I find that important because I think it speaks a lot to his character and how actually invested he was in making sure she was okay. And that's why he looks so frazzled the next day, because he's just gone to her funeral and he's seen her in the elevator and he's like not knowing how to react, but he just came from her funeral. I'm glad this is the open. It's only episode 6. We're not even at the halfway point yet. But they know it's in the open. It's in the open. So now we can work together. Now we can work together on revenge plots. Now we can work together. We can establish that it's not cheating if you both know that this is a long game because he's gonna murder you in the future. I think if you feel like your relationship is over, I'm completely against cheating. I don't care how bad of a partner your partner is, you break up with them first before you start something else with somebody else, okay? There is no version of how bad this relationship is that justifies cheating. End the relationship first. Unless you are in such an abusive relationship that there is no safe way out of it. In which case, as far as I'm concerned, the relationship is over. You just haven't managed to extract yourself from them yet. There's those mitigating circumstances where you might need help getting out and getting away from that person. But in general, for like 99.9% of it, end the relationship first before you date somebody else. If you find yourself wanting to cheat on your partner, end the relationship. End the relationship before you do anything else. Like, at least have the decency to end A before starting B. But in this situation, it's already over. Her life is on the line. This is not a normal circumstance, but at least she can be honest with him. And he can know what's going on. So they can work together on transferring the two things that need to be transferred. They need to transfer her disastrous marriage to somebody else. They need to three things. Her disastrous marriage, her disastrous death, because that death is still a thing that's in the future. It doesn't necessarily, like, she's assuming that it's tied to the marriage, but it's not necessarily tied to the marriage. The cancer as well isn't necessarily tied to the marriage. So you got those two things, and then the other thing that they have to transfer is they have to transfer his car accident. They have to find a way to get that off. Obviously the marriage has to go to Sumin, because Minwon's not going to marry himself. I don't know how you could transfer the cancer to Sumin, but she could just get cancer. Okay, getting the cancer is one thing. They didn't discover it until it was stage 4, but if they're on the lookout for it and they catch it earlier, then she could be treated for it properly. She didn't die from cancer. Like, the cancer did not kill her. She did not die of cancer. She didn't. So if the major event is just her getting the cancer, she can actually keep that. I don't know how you would transfer that to somebody else anyway. She could actually keep that, but, like, be looking for the signs earlier so she can catch it earlier and treat it. Dying of cancer is not her fate. So that actually doesn't have to be passed off to somebody. She could be a cancer survivor. The earlier you catch it, the more likely you are to survive. And she could catch it very, very early since she is aware of it. The dying from the blunt head force trauma needs to be transferred. That, I think, would get transferred to Sumin. Well, we would hope. That's what she would hope, is that ending being transferred to Sumin, and then somehow that car crash has to be transferred to Minwon. And that is going to be the trickier part, I think, with how violent Minwon is. He's eventually going to start cheating on Sumin. If they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. Will Sumin cheat? I don't know. We actually haven't seen her cheat on anybody because she never actually gets into a relationship with it. She might be loyal once she gets what she wants, because she's playing a game. So we have, but she cannot have any expectations of loyalty when she gets Minwon, and that's always the thing that I've found fascinating about people who try to steal other people's significant others. Is what's your end game here? Either you're doing it for the lols, and then once you get it, you dump them anyway because you were just trying to take them away, or you're getting it and you think you have them now, but if they were willing to cheat on their first partner, they're gonna be willing to cheat on you too. Like, what are you thinking? That, like, how are you? I once watched Tyler Perry's Medea, and part of the show, he's got this couple, they're sitting down on the couch, and he's talking to them, and she's pissed because he cheated on her, but the only reason that they were married is because he cheated on his previous partner with her. And I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it was like, okay, so you went out into the backyard. You went out and you bought, like, I don't know what it was, an apple tree. I'll try to get the metaphor as correct as possible, even though I don't remember the words. You went out, you buy an apple tree sapling. And you went out and you dug a hole in the backyard. And you planted this apple tree. You knew it was an apple tree. You planted the apple tree in the backyard. And then you watered the apple tree. And then you grew the apple tree. And now you're mad that the apple tree is producing apples. You knew what this was when you started. You knew that's what he was when you met him. And now you're mad that he's cheating on you. That's the relationship you chose to grow. Why are you upset that it's doing the thing that it was doing when you picked it? I'm sure I horribly messed up that metaphor. But like, I think I got the metaphor correct, but I messed up, like, how he actually said it. But is that sentiment? So what's Sumin think's gonna happen? That, like, she's gonna convince him to cheat on his girlfriend and then he'll be loyal to her? Like, it's not gonna. But I have no idea how I'm really genuinely baffled about how to transfer the car crash. I don't know how you'd even begin, because the blunt head force trauma was specifically tied to the violence that came about in the marriage, so that you can kind of get that through line, but nothing, like, it was a cat crossing the road. It was his cat crossing the road, or one that looked identical to it.
That's gonna be harder. But we gotta work on it. We can figure it out, and we know who we want to transfer it to. Like, they can have their life together, and then they can have their death together. Actually, that would be nice. That'd be lovely. That'd be lovely. And I know this isn't that type of show, but we've had one supernatural moment with the dad coming back and giving her the money and the second chance and the allowance. We could see the Grim Reapers at the end. I really want to see the Grim Reapers take them away. I really want to see the Grim Reapers take them away. I'd be very happy with that, actually. Yeah. Anywho, that went really dark and really weird and really strange, and I'm sorry about that. But no, seriously, like, comeuppance is a thing, and I can't wait for it to happen, but I'm really genuinely concerned about the car crash. Because I can't figure out how to change the trigger point for it. And it's possible that it would happen to somebody else, because if Sumin died, it would happen to somebody else at Sumin's funeral. But my worry then is that the logical person for that to transfer to, the logical person to be upset at Sumin's death from the cast that we've seen, if she marries Minwon and Minwon mistreats her, and then she dies from that, the person who likes Sumin the most, who is most likely to be the person that is upset at her death and ends up crashing on the way home from her funeral, is Mr. Kim. And while I despise him, and he's a horrible manager and stuff, I don't quite think he deserves to die. Like, that's a little step too far. He's a horrible person. He deserves to be fired. He deserves to be publicly humiliated. But death is a little excessive for him. Minwon is the one that deserves death. He's the one that caused death. He's the one that deserves to receive it. And that's 10 years in the future, so that's obviously that's going to be like episode 16. We're going to find out how they passed that off and who they passed it off to, but that's going to be a tough one to figure out. Anyway, so that's going to be it for today. We will be back next week with another episode. I am thoroughly enjoying this. Once again, you can go and get the full uncut reaction on the Patreon. You'll just need to sync up your copy, which is, I guess, a weird thing to say at the very end of the video when you either have already done it or haven't already done it, but whatever. And then, of course, you can always go on Patreon to get all of my reactions a couple weeks ahead of time, or you can just hang out with me on YouTube, whichever floats your boat, any way that you prefer it. Love y'all. I will talk to you next time, and bye-bye. Annyeong.